I love it that you're here. Thank you so much for being a part of the conversation. Let's do some pod crashing. Episode number 291 is with Amanda from the podcast Soul Sessions.
I'm doing well. How are you, Arrow?
Absolutely fantastic. To take what you have been given as a gift and turn it into a podcast, that's a special gift. How did you know to trust that this new layer of communication was going to reach people?
I love the way that you asked that, this new layer of communication. It speaks to your energy field. You're extremely intellectual. And I'm not saying that to build you up. I can see the intricacies of your mind because you're highly formulaic. So thank you for saying it the way you did. I tell you what, everything comes in this very divine timing. And there was opportunity for me to do a podcast a year or two before this, and it didn't make sense. It would have been too much. It would have been like adding on. So being able to know when things are coming and to trust the divine timing of things versus the urgency that I personally or any of us can get. We get really impatient. We want things to happen. We want things to happen now. But when we work with greater energies, with God, with Source, with our souls, with our higher powers, and we work with the frequencies of the energy field rather than being in all of this self-will, things happen more fluidly, organically, and divinely or abundantly.
Do you find yourself ever going, why? Why do you want me to work on this? Because, but yet you feel it. It's showing up in your writing, and it's like, okay, I have to take it to the next level, and that means you've got to get involved with listeners.
Yes, and those things can all be frightening, but I know that when I show up and I'm healthy and well and my heart is in the right space, plus I've done the work, meaning I'm doing work on myself, my own personal and spiritual development.
Yep.
When I am growing and learning, and then I show up to help other people do the same thing, to light their fire, to ignite their own passion and soul's calling, then it creates this synergy that is freaking magnetic, and it's contagious in a way that we all need it. It's a healthier, higher vibration in such a heavy world.
I love the way you say that because as Michael was talking about, today is the Voice Day, where we're talking to all the entertainers on The Voice. And one of the reasons why I love doing that is because I want to give them a real, honest to God, professional conversation so that it prepares them for their own future as they grow forward. It ain't about me. It's about preparing them to take their music and be ready for those interviews.
I love that. And I love that you just said grow forward. That's something I would say, evolve, grow forward. And again, you're very much a wordsmith. You're again, I want to go back to your communication skills and your intelligence. You use words intentionally and very cleverly, and words have power. Words have meaning. That's one of your gifts. And I know that you know that, but I want to highlight that in the element that words mean things. So using our I am, today I am confident I'm going to have a good day. Today I trust, rather than, okay, I'm trying, or, oh, I should have done that. Words like trying and should or could have, those things keep us in a lower vibrational state. So using words intentionally and intelligently and clearly in terms of really being present and aligned, that's important. And you have a beautiful gift for that. You're also very deep and introspective.
You want to read my journals.
I know you like your quiet time. Like you like me. It's like, I love my own company, even when it's a dangerous neighborhood. Let me sift through all the rubble and the danger, but I love it here. So you sharing your gifts, you communicating, being out in the world, that revitalizes you because you do crave that private, quiet time. So finding that balance is a healthy thing for you.
Well, Amanda, I think it's because that I was called to this forest in South Charlotte, North Carolina, because of some, maybe about 3 miles from here, there are these huge boulders where Native Americans used to live. And I truly believe I was called to tell the story of this forest. And in order to tell the story, I've got to be able to have a relationship with everything that has made up this forest. Now I need to share it.
Yeah. I love that. And we know that there are sacred places and energetic ley lines, places on the earth, places where there are grids and vortexes that are activated. And when we feel called to them, the way that I see it is a lot of times we've traversed there before. We've lived there before. We have energy that resides there that resonates with us. And when we find those places where we feel awakened, alive, connected, intended to share, explore that. So it sounds very, you're right where you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. Teaching somebody to engage their abilities, because so many times you and I, we like to open up hearts and doors, but then all of a sudden they only go so far. How are you protecting everything that you invested? Or is it something you go, I gave it a shot. Okay, I'm here. If you need me, we can get this going again.
One of the things that I have learned, and I'm pretty firm in this, I suit up, I show up, I give of my mind, body, heart, and soul. Yep. It is someone else's responsibility to take that and grow it and nurture it. I am not responsible for somebody else's actions. I may love them and care and see all of their abilities, but we individually are responsible for our evolution, our growth, doing the work, doing hard things. And I will be here to be a support system, but it's not like the allopathic approach to spirituality. There's not just a pill for everything. And a lot of us just want a pill. Just give me a pill and make me happier. Whatever it may be, usually there's some heavy lifting that's involved. And when we start to meet the universe, 1 or 2 steps, it's kind of brilliant. And when we do it with a discerning, deliberate heart, the universe will really astound us when we show up and take those first couple of steps, make a decision to heal, to grow, to shift, to evolve in whatever it may be.
Don't you love the law of attraction? Because, I mean, it's like if you live by that and you activate by that, I mean, it's amazing what happens. Just don't put the brakes on. Just enjoy the ride.
No. And sometimes it can be so scary, right? Because things are accelerating and going so fast. That's why for me, it's important to be grounded, to do the things that keep me on this earthly plane and connected, whether that be playing with my dogs or interacting with people out in the world at the coffee shop. My breath work, my meditation, of course, exercising, but doing very human things, cooking dinner and being present and enjoying that helps me to harness my human abilities and also those higher consciousness frequencies in a way that are sustainable, because otherwise it can feel overwhelming, cloudy, and then that law of attraction, that point of attraction within becomes murky or dimmed, and then I start sending mixed signals out. Things come out sideways versus being clear and direct in where I'm going and what my aim is, and also letting the universe collaborate with me. Man, that's so much more powerful.
My meditation is Nidra. So many people like to do the transcendental, but man, when you get in, and one of the things that listeners have got to understand, it doesn't mean you have to sit on the sofa with your legs crossed. You can do meditation anywhere, and it can be in front of a bunch of people.
It can. And, Arrow, where I have been meditating mostly, and listen, I'm saying this is a disclaimer to everybody. I don't want you operating machinery and doing something crazy, but I meditate while I'm driving. Yep. And, in the moment in the car, you're present. You're traversing a road that you've been before. So you know the directions, you know where you're going. I'm very present in the car, and I do breath work as I'm driving. I look at the trees. I look at the road. So I'm very consciously in my body, and then I tap into something higher. And using that breath work and I even sometimes visualize. And again, I'm saying, telling people to be careful doing this because I am present in the car. But when I start to breathe different ways and breathing through my heart and connecting with something higher, I can get very emotional. I can feel things. I'll see a hawk fly by. I mean, it'll all start synchronizing very quickly. And I find that when we're driving, all of us know what it feels like to get from point A to point B and be like, gosh, how did I get here? I know I stopped at the stoplights, but what happened? There's something that happens in time and space time there where I meditate a lot in the car.
Which is very interesting. You talk about the laws of attraction here. You meditate in the car. You create a podcast that we're listening to in the car. Full circle.
Yes. Full circle. I love that you connected that. That's so fabulous. And I tell you what, there are so many seemingly mundane places to find the sacred, to meditate. When we hear a song on the radio or we see a piece of art and it moves us, it touches us. There are so many ways to find these transcendent moments in the everyday. And I oftentimes find that out in the world interacting with people. When someone is kind or someone makes me laugh, a total stranger, I not only notice that interaction, when I walk away and notice, oh my gosh, that was uplifting, or that was nice, or I needed a friendly face today. I feel that in my body. I breathe it, and I'll give it up to source, to God. And I'll say, hey, source, hey, thank you. Hey, field, energy, thank you so much for this. May I be a vessel of more of this? May I attract more of this? Thank you. Thank you. So wow and thank you are huge prayers when we're conscious and noticing those high vibrational interactions in the mundane world. They add up. The more consistently we do them, the more they add up and shift our energetic frequency.
One of the things that I've gotten really into since November of 2017 is vocal defragging. And what I do with that is I take the recording device with me when I go through a transition walk through the forest. I'm asking myself the questions. I'm questioning the answers. We're wasting a lot of time asking people how we should change our lives when we should be asking ourselves.
Absolutely. And that is actually one of your gifts. Is remember how we talked about that solitude? You love the introspection, your own internal dialogues. That is so important. This difference between isolation, because we all, especially since post-pandemic, we've had a lot of isolation and social anxiety. Depression is running rampant. There are lots of forces and experiences that we are having that are extremely challenging. So finding solitude, which is communion with God, communion with the universe, the field, something greater. And I always tell people that, when you're struggling, when you're having a hard time, instead of reaching out to a friend, as your first course of action, reach higher, reach within yourself. Hey, show me. Hey, God. Hey, spirit. Hey, soul, reveal the answer to me. Show me, help me right now. And then be still, be silent, open those ears, and then go out and reach out for some help. But looking within, there's a whole universe within.
Oh my God, you're such a student, and yet you're a teacher. I mean, I love that collaboration that you've got with yourself. 15 minutes is not enough time with you. You got to come back to this show anytime.
We'll do it again. I would love to connect with you. You and I speak a very similar language, Arrow.
Well, we do. Because it's not about us. It's not about us.
No. And I tell you what, for all of our fears and, feeling or being misunderstood, when we just are true to ourselves and dance to the beat of our own drum and knowing that it comes from this higher place of the humanitarian heart, wanting to matter, wanting to uplift and make a difference, when we get out of our own way, infinite possibilities are available.
Oh my God. You be brilliant today, okay?
Thanks. You too, Arrow. Have a great day. I look forward to staying connected.